Okay, so basically what I sort of volunteered to do today was to talk about effective social media. And what we actually do as a company, we do SEO and we do social media. And we believe that digital marketing is both of those put together. You can't do one without the other. There are some agencies out there that charge for SEO and social media separately. And we believe that to do the job properly in this day and age, then you need to be doing both. And so we charge a flat fee, depending on what the particular business we're going to be dealing with requires to maintain a position in social media and in search engine results. So we do digital marketing, website development, social media marketing, paid search, which is Google AdWords, web ads, Facebook ads and Twitter, LinkedIn. And we also do public relations, PR. That's because one of our customers approached us a few months ago to set up a new business in London. So we're going to be an all-encompassing 360-degree PR and digital marketing company. So, as I say, we believe that SEO is digital marketing and social media is digital marketing. So it's all part and parcel. Before you think about doing anything with social media, you really need to optimise your website. And I talked last week or the week before based on a bit of SEO. If you were here for that, or you need to see the slides, see the website, but try and make sure you get your website optimised fully first for search engines as well as visitors so they can find you in your own right. But also, don't forget to use your social media icons across your website, not just the share buttons, but also that people can go to your Twitter accounts and follow you from there, or Facebook or LinkedIn and Google+. So you all use Facebook, don't you? Yeah, so you're all business to consumers, businesses, everyone? Or you're all business to business? Or have we got some of a bit of both? Okay. So Facebook's great for business to consumers and not so great for business to business. But if you want to encompass social media across your campaigns, and you do business to business, then it's worth having a Facebook business page. Just to use it, to show that you're there, but you're not going to really gain much social media contacts from there if you're doing a business to business type of environment. Basically, when Facebook got bought out or floated, then they're now going to want some money back for their shareholders, and then so they're now promoting posts where if you have a personal page and you want to say use that for business to consumer, then you've got a different type of audience that's going to cost you more. So everyone uses Twitter here? No? So that's what you're coming for, to learn about how to use Twitter. Well, I'm not going to do that, but I want to try and help you to use effective social media. That's what we're here for today. So what we want to use Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. You all use LinkedIn? No? Who said no? Okay, no? Anyone over here? Okay. Google Plus. Who uses Google Plus? Marketeers. Anyone else? Okay, Google Plus. We'll talk about it in a while, but who uses Pinterest? Okay. Ladies. Pinterest. Yeah, all the ladies use Pinterest. So we'll talk about them in a minute. And then there's others like Flickr, Tumblr, Reddit, Share It, Squash It, Sit on It. As I'm making up the last two. But there's plenty more out there. Foursquare, and the list can go on. But the men are probably saying, why use Pinterest? It's good for link building. The ladies like it. And men with their feminine side intact and in use, so to speak. He's doing his nails in front of me, so he should be on Pinterest here. Okay, so it's good for link building, and it's just been putting the pictures out there on a picture board that people can like, click on it, go to your website. So that's good for SEO as well, say social media. LinkedIn used to be a jobs board, like a CV bank, but but now it's become a social media platform in its own right. And if you have a personal page on that, you also need to say your company email address, so Fred at Retrieval Web Solutions, to be able to then make a business page for LinkedIn. And a lot of people don't use LinkedIn, but it is really powerful. You've got 50 groups that you can join, and so if you write a blog, who writes blogs? Okay, and those who write blogs, so you put it on your website, and then where do you put it? Who's going to read it?
Twitter.
So no one's going to know anything about keywords, for which you're yourself, you can always sometimes. But because he loves Twitter. But if you put a blog on your website, there's many more people in the world that don't know about your website than do. So not many people are going to read your blog, if anyone's going to read it at all. So one great place to put that, apart from say Facebook and Twitter, is LinkedIn. Because if you join 50 groups, then you can spread your blog over to say 50 groups. Some of the groups, I spoke to a customer the other day, and only 5 groups gave them could have given their blog to 150,000 people. Not everyone looks at their emails from LinkedIn, but if you use an engaging introduction to a discussion and post your blog on there, and you put that across to 50 groups, then you've got an awful lot of potential people reading those blogs. Those people visit your website, see what a wonderful website you've got, and it's very well SEO'd, and they want to come back to it because you've got a lot of bespoke original content on there. So who now wants to use LinkedIn? Lots of people. And you think maybe if you are using LinkedIn, it's going to take an age to spread that blog out to all 50 groups. But it doesn't. It can take 5 minutes. Because you first of all put an update on LinkedIn on the homepage, make it intriguing, interesting, engaging. Don't just say, read my blog, and then there's a link to it. Maybe use a Google URL shortener, because then that can give you nice analytical data on how many people clicked on that URL shortener. And then you can then see over a few days how many people clicked on it. And also in Twitter, it gives you quite a few more characters to use. So if you're, for instance, Retrieval Web Solutions is about 150 characters in itself, and by the time you've added the blog URL onto that, then you can't tweet about anything. If you use it on a URL shortener, then at least I can say what this discussion is going to be about. So once you've done that and you've shared it, as long as you've put the URL in there, then once you've shared it, it magically appears below. And anyone can email me this or ring me up next week or tomorrow, and I'll talk you through it. It's quite simple. It magically appears below. You push share, another box comes up. Do a little bit more of an introduction on why you've shared it again, and then there's a little button that says share to groups. You click on that, and then sit on your keyboard, type in A, and all your groups with A comes up, and you click on them, or B, so you've got Brighton, etc., etc. So you've got 50 groups all come up within about 5 minutes, and you post it away. And then you've now been able to promote your blog and your website across to many, many thousands of people. As long as you don't do it too salesy, so it's nice and introduction, nice informative information. So if you make teapots and you want to tell the world how the spout goes on and the handle goes on, then make the URL or the title of the blog something interesting, especially with Google's latest sort of advice. Then you want to be able to say, not just have, say, a few keywords, we want to say have a phrase or a long tail keywords. You all know what that is though, don't you? No? Okay. We're talking about social media today, so not necessarily into SEO. I did a talk to the Federation of Small Business, went on for 2 hours, because not many people knew about SEO. But and it was based on social media. So LinkedIn is a really powerful tool to use, and on your personal page you can really optimize that page and literally spam it. Put on all your keywords that people are going to possibly search for your services, and then Google actually don't mind that because it's part of LinkedIn and social media, and your pages on LinkedIn can actually appear in search engine results. So it is a really powerful tool. Someone said about Google Plus, and they don't know what it is. Is anyone? Yeah, there's a few people who use Google Plus, but you're mainly marketeers, yeah? Or web people. Okay, there you go. Google Plus, basically Google fell out with Facebook and Twitter a few years ago, and they can't really crawl too much of the social media mentions, the sharing, the liking, the following of your information. So Google set up its own social media network, and after a few tries and a few not so good tries, they became Google Plus. And everyone's website should be optimised along enough Google's guidelines. Google hasn't got any guidelines, so if you imagine an imaginary tick list of what Google wants your websites to be like, then one of those things to use also would be Google Plus, and then you can intermingle that with Google business pages, Google business photographs. Has anyone got a restaurant or a nice shop here? Oh, you've got a shop, you're an online thing, itchy dog.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to look at Google Images.
Okay, Google Images are good.
So that's going to be really good, isn't it?
It's going to be good because then Google can hopefully see more about what images are. And they also get, because their algorithms are changing so much.
Yeah.
So if you want to utilise because Google wants you to be an authoritative figure on your subject, and so when you blog, and then you share those blogs all around social media, i.e. LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus. Google Plus is amazing. Because it's Google's little baby, they want you to participate in it. So it's another social media, but it also brings in Google business pages, or Google Places, or Google Maps for local searches, and Google authorship. Does everyone use Google authorship? Web designers? Yeah. What do you do? Okay, web development. So no one else knows what it's about. Who's got WordPress website? Okay, great. So you've got plugins for it, so you're halfway there. Google's wanting people to be, say, experts in their field, and so be an authoritative figure. So when you write blogs and they're informative, it's not that about going down the shop and choosing a nice blue dress or whatever, ladies, sorry, or men. And it's all about, say, your expertise on your subject. So if you're writing a blog about web design, you write it so that maybe it's the top 10 tips on blog design, and then you can put authorship into it. So you're connecting your Google Plus account into your website or with your website, so you can become an authoritative figure. And if you use Google Plus and follow lots of people, join circles, join communities or groups, and then where people like you on Facebook or like you on Facebook, in Google Plus they +1 you, and they can also take that away where you can't take it away really in Facebook so much. So Google is appreciating that you're using all this, all the mentions. Go into Google Plus and actually share your latest blog, so you can literally say this is brilliant information about a certain subject, and in the link button, in the link area, put in your URL of your blog. And the more you do this, the more people can read your information, and the more that people are reading it, +1 in you, then Google's going to raise you in search engine results. Especially if you've got a WordPress site and you're using categories or tags to label your blogs. Then if you tie those in with your keywords in your say Google Plus accounts, then you can rise up in the rankings. One of the services we don't do is app development. We say we do it, and so I put that on my categories of some of my blogs I do, and although we not really well found for it in proper search engine results, Google actually liked us last year, and we were 4th in .com and .co.uk of Google because of Google Plus, the circles, the communities, the amount of time, amount of sharing of information across Google and Google Plus. So Google was really thanking me for that by putting me up in the search engine. So it is really a powerful tool. Does anyone want me to talk a bit more about Google Plus or LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I am in the corner bit.
Okay. I'll talk to you another time. And in Facebook, and when you're using certain...
Can I just ask a quick question about Google Plus? Everybody seems to be saying it's the next big thing,
Yep.
but they've been saying that for about 18 months now. Is it actually the next big thing, or is that just hype?
It's massive.
Okay.
It's overtaken Twitter. I think it's already overtaken, or just about overtaken Facebook, and it may be overtaking Twitter soon.
Cool.
Google are obviously a bit sneaky by putting it every business. So if you own a shop like the Arlington Hotel in Steam, they've got a Google business page. They didn't know they had it. It had 3 reviews on it. They didn't know that 2 of them were really good, and unfortunately they didn't realise that one of them was really, really bad, because they didn't take on their management of their Google business page. So how many of you got an office or shop or building and you don't know that you've got a Google business page? Anyone? Okay, you've got one. So Google have made it up for you, and literally every business has got one. So if you tie in your Google Plus accounts with the Google business pages, then you can take over, say, the reviews, and then you can start to bring in Google's power.
The question is, the Google Business Photos, if you've got that, then that's going to push you up the rankings.
Google Business Photographs can help because you're Google's like appreciating what you're doing. But Google Business Photos is going to be really good for, say, a restaurant or a cafe or a shop.
I'm just starting to do it.
Okay.
Someone said, if I say to my customers, it's going to push you up the rankings on your Google.
It's been shown in Google that it has had quite an impact on that. But also people are doing local searches. So if you're getting off a train in Brighton, for instance, and you want to find a restaurant, people are going to get out their mobile device. They're not going to ask them, any Eastern Europeans? The local Polish people that can't maybe speak in English, they're going to get their mobile phone out. Don't tell me off to be a racist or anything, but they're going to get the mobile phone out. They're going to go straight onto Google. They'll do a search for a restaurant, a place to eat, and if that is on Google Places or Google Places, then obviously they're going to come up hopefully on the first page, and then that person looking at their smartphone or smart device can then click on the Google Business Photographs and then actually look around the restaurant to see, say, accessibility, or if it's trendy enough for them, or if they're disabled, they can see if there's any steps in there. So it's a really powerful tool for marketing, but also you can then walk from the train station and find out where it is by using the virtual Google Maps tool, and then you can look around the shop inside. So, and it can help with positioning. So, how do you use social media? There's a lady over here that's just about getting into social media. I'm not going to point her, but she's over back. And she was talking about perhaps someone maybe using a student to use Twitter for herself. But really, you want to be able to interact with people just like out on the street. So if I walked out on the street now and said to someone, will you be my friend? I'm either going to be slapped, locked up, or completely ignored. And that's the same as in social media. So you don't want to be tweeting out there. A lot of people who use, say, outsourcing for social media, the people don't really know how to use it, and so they're going to just be shouting out about the company's products. And so all the people that then sort of see those tweets by, say, the hashtags or the mentions, or they get a tweet forwarded onto them or retweeted, and if they always see these tweets saying me all the time, in real life you're not going to want to be friends with that person. If you're at a party and someone's talking about themselves all the time, you're going to go and try and find someone else who wants to listen to what you're saying. So social media should be the same as that. So you're interacting with people, you're asking them questions, you're commenting on their pictures, you're commenting on their website if they've got links to it. And we've found an awful lot of business from that, and also business partners. If you have a look on our website, we've got several social media success stories based on Twitter and social media itself. And there's a lady in Kent who's a photographer, Anyone photographer here? Okay, brilliant. Oh yeah, of course, you just said. But she gets all her work via Twitter. And she literally made herself go onto Twitter and try to interact with 20 people each day, get them following her. And she's now got 20,000 followers and following, and she gets all her work from that. And so it's quite lucrative. There's also a little shop called Little Cufflink Shop. I love it. These aren't from there though, but I love cufflinks. And it's run by a 19-year-old guy who didn't want to go to university or do A-levels and set up his website. And he's got an awful lot of success from it at the moment. So it's a bit like back in the .com days. Still need a website, but use social media to get your name out there. And so you can use Twitter and Facebook, Google Plus for sharing photographs, sharing ideas, sharing your blogs, same as with LinkedIn. So it's a really powerful tool to get your message out there. And so what you don't want to do is shout all the time, so you don't want to use capital letters, you don't want to be mentioning yourself all the time, although we've been nominated for 2 awards in the Ada and Worthing awards lately, so of course I'm going to shout about that, and I've mentioned it a few times on Twitter and Facebook today, but I've also intermingled that with a few other retweets about a seagull in Lancing, and Lancing Network has been retweeting ours, so I'm interacting with them. Talking to an imaginary seagull on Twitter is a bit odd. So yeah, so there's an awful lot of software out there for using social media. TweetDeck, Hootsuite, Sprout, Cabbages, there's one called Sprout. So where you can use all your social media platforms in one place, and you can schedule the tweets. How many people thank their followers for following them in Twitter with an automated tweet? And how rude is that? It's like, would you do that in private life? Would you give a little card out to someone who's just become your friend and say, thanks for being my friend? Why do that in Twitter? It's so, I can't swear, annoying. And it actually makes me then go back in and unfollow them. And a lot of people don't realise they're really doing it. It might be a bit of software doing it, but it is really annoying. So if someone does follow you and you appreciate them, then go in and say, thank you, John. Because how else are you going to know their name if that is their name? Go in and thank them for it. Maybe comment on their website, or comment on one of the tweets they did recently, or retweet that tweet. So you're actually engaging with your audience. So they want to engage back to you. What's the point of getting 20 or 30,000 followers or following on Twitter, or following someone with 20, 30,000? They're normally American. I'm going to get told off soon, aren't I? But they're normally American, and they've bought all their tweets, or Twitter followers or Facebook likes, and then you'll probably see that they've only done 40 tweets. So how can they get 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 if their name's not Brad Pitt or something? But so have a look at the audience who you're going to be participating with. Not everyone's going to be a good follower or following. Do you all understand where I'm coming from on that?
Quality, not quantity.
Yeah. Cheers. So, go on.
If someone follows you, do you have to follow them?
No. Will you be my friend? You don't have to, but it'd be nice if you did. But it'd be nice if you did follow them back. But
So it's not considered rude if you don't?
Choose your own friends. If you've got a corner shop a little boutique shop in Worthing, would you want an SEO company from Arizona following you with 150,000 followers and following? They're probably not going to visit the country, and are they actually going to tweet you? And are they going to tweet you anything that you'd be of interest? So, no, you don't have to follow them back. And we definitely don't follow everyone. So don't take that personally if you follow us afterwards. So I do it, I tweet a lot in bed, 7 o'clock in the morning, with my cup of tea. My wife hates it, but don't want to be talking, we're married, I'm not going to be doing anything else, but, obviously, but I tweet them. But you can get software that tells you when your best times to tweet are, or to interact with your social media followers. And so you can look at that. So our actual best time to tweet is about 11 o'clock in the day. Well, I'm still there 7 o'clock in the morning talking to an imaginary seagull. So you can have a look at sort of software that can tell you what the best times are. And if you do tweet, try not to bombard all your followers with the loads of mentions all in one go. If you're really excited about Twitter, and go and make another cup of tea or something, then come back 20 minutes later, there would have been another 10,000 tweets in that time, and then you can add a few more. Or schedule them. But schedule them so that it sounds or looks like you're going to be, it's actually you. Don't just do 20 images of your teapot range, if you're a shop, for instance, at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, change them, everything. But you can schedule them, especially in, say, TweetDeck, it's quite easy, and Hootsuite. Do you all use any social media software? Does anyone use it?
Yeah. TweetDeck.
Okay, cool. Okay, you use some. Yeah, you can schedule it so you can go around. You can say any day, any time. So if you go on a holiday, then why not? And you're not allowed to take your phone with you. Then yeah, I'm married. Then do a load of tweets or schedule them to go out when you're away.
Oh, that was United Airlines.
Oh, you can't say that's recorded.
Oh, sorry.
Possibly.
Well, the musician concerned, there's a brilliant video on YouTube called You Know What Breaks Guitars.
Yeah.
Very popular.
So, people that have jumped on the bandwagon monitoring things have been great. We've got we did have a internet hosting company that the sites were always going down. So I tweeted about it, and then other people using software that have been monitoring these keywords have all come back to me. 3 or 4 people saying, we'll give you a quote. I was like, our downtime is, uptime is 99.999%. And so if you monitor it and someone's complaining about the glasses that just broke from maybe a famous shop, if you sell glasses, you say, well, how about we repair them? Here's 10% off a new pair if you wanted that. And they're going to be like, oh, they're really nice. So it's all social media can help, but you've got to monitor it. Any other last questions, or if you want to stay here longer, any more questions? Itchy dog again.
What's the best way of finding out what demographic uses which social media platform? Because I've had to work it out for myself, and I only want to target.
There's lots of different software out there. Some are more costly than others. Some give you 4 weeks free or month free. But a vegetable, I might have mentioned earlier, Sprout Social is quite good for doing that.
So it'll tell me who's using which platform.
And so we'll follow a wonk, something like that.
Follow a walk.
W-O-N-K.
Not be rude.
Follow a wonk.
That's it?
Or Hootsuite, and reporting on different softwares on that.
Thanks.